All right, welcome everybody to According to Andrew number 13. Sorry about missing yesterday's stream with Nate. I sure coordinated them and stuff. Just kind of Sunday caught me off guard and things slipped up. But um, yeah, hopefully everything's good now. uh, so let's start with so I was gonna start with the post story blues because I've just finished The Witcher 3. Great game. Um, but you know, when all things come to it, it gets you sad. But we'll get there in a second. Um, I wanted to talk about this okay, so applying to jobs nowadays almost seems intentionally demoralizing. And I think I'm a little loud, so I'm going to turn this down a little bit. All right. So yeah, it seems intentionally demoralizing, which is weird, but like the whole process is just like send your resume into a black hole and cross your fingers and hope, and there's no way to know like whether or not you're doing what you're doing is correct. Everyone and their grandmother has a different way you're supposed to build your resume, so there's no consistency there whatsoever. uh, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I like this whole like applying to jobs thing I've never had any luck with, and it's like, the whole what is it? You got to know somebody to get anywhere kind of thing. Like that's basically how it is. Like I've gotten every one of my jobs, with the exception of my last job, from knowing somebody. Um, which I was proud of the fact that I was able to land my last job with by not needing someone like I don't know. I have this weird mental block where um, unless I don't have anyone helping me, like it feels like I cheated. So like I don't allow myself to ask for help. I don't get it, but it is what it is. And so then I got thinking, like, is it almost intended to be demoralizing? Is it, like, intended to just beat people down so that less people are, like, seeking in the job market, and therefore you can kind of pretend like the unemployment numbers aren't as bad as they are? Is it just a matter of, because of the amount of immigration stuff that we've had, that there's just too many people here and there's just not enough jobs to go around? Um, and is it sane to keep applying and stuff like this? Uh, it's like, okay, you can, the whole definition of insanity, right, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And sometimes you do get different results, right? You send your resume in like a million times and then you finally get an interview and you're like, woo, and then you're like happy for a week and then it goes back to nothingness. Um, and companies can't even be bothered to, like, they interviewed like what, a handful of you, and they can't even be bothered to email you back or call you and be like, oh yeah, by the way, we're not moving forward with you. It's like, come on, really? I have to call you to get this information? It's really rude. Um, and I get people are busy and stuff, but it's like, come on. This is part of your job. You get paid to call me back. It's not that big of a deal. Uh, so it's like, okay, well, what is the next step then, right? It's you don't want to just be doing the same thing over and over again. So it's like, okay, well, now you have to go create your own company, or you have to do something else. You gotta, I don't know, find something that makes it work. Uh, do a homestead thing, do something, and I mean, I guess that's why I started this podcast, kind of like not to like make a living, but it was just like do something active to at least say that you're building something, you're doing something constructive. You're not just sitting around and kind of wallowing in your self pity. Uh, so I guess I've found that helpful, but it's I'm lucky because I'm in a situation where like I don't really have that many expenses. I got stuff kind of covered, so I can kind of just float along here and hope that the economy recovers at some point. And that's the other thing. I got to realize that the economy isn't recovering, but it's like what do I do kind of thing. And I don't know. I tried day trading for a little bit. That lasted, I don't know. It is basically gambling. I was like, I might as well just go become a professional gambler if that was the path I was gonna take. Um, the only people that make money that doing that are people who were lucky early on, and then go and sell a course on how to be lucky. That's how you make money on that. Is from the research I've done. That's how you make money there. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It just it sucks, but it's the reality we live in. And I don't know. Part of it's my pride too. Like I have a master's in engineering, and I want to have a job that utilizes my skill set to its best potential. I guess that's not allowed. Um, because I can't. Well, I mean, part of it is I'm not very good at selling myself. That I'm just like, can I show up and work and you can give me money? Like, does that seem like a reasonable? I'll give you a 30% plus return. Like, is that not good enough? And they're like, you didn't. You're straightforward and exactly asking what we have to do this stupid little dance. It's like, look, I will do productive things for you. You give me money. This is how this works. I don't know. I'm not like a haggling kind of person, so I'm just like, can I just do my job? That's all I want to do. Um, so I mean, like I get it. Like it's not going to work and stuff like that. Isn't like when I had my previous job. It's not like it was the most exciting thing in the world, right? And there's times I loathe it, but it was like there's it like gave a certain order and structure to like my day that helped a lot. Like when you're unemployed and stuff like that, there's like zero structure. You can wake up at noon, you can wake up at 8 in the morning. Like it doesn't matter. Um, and not having that structure is, or having a reason to have that structure kind of sucks. That's where like growing the garden and stuff like that was helpful. But um, and I was pretty good at like reading every day and stuff like that. But it's just I need to get back into the habit of reading. And this we're past gardening season. Um, the garden died out, so which is it's fall, so that's what it's supposed to do. So it's just I'm kind of in a limbo spot um, right now. I guess it's getting to hunting season, so I should probably start doing that. Uh, but I've been dragging my feet on changing my residency. um, what else is there? So yeah, I don't know. That was kind of my thoughts on the whole application process. It seems intentionally designed to demoralize. It's just like keep doing the same thing and getting the same candid responses and just talk to a robot and have no personal or human interaction whatsoever and just feel like you're in this enclosed box that you're not allowed to talk to anybody ever, and it's just ah bothers me. Uh, but again, if it bothers you, you got to do something about it. So the problem is I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I guess I'll figure it out. And I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to swallow my pride and just just work construction again or something. I'm spinning my wheels at this point. But anyway, moving to the next topic. Post story blues. So I'm kind of curious if anyone else kind of experiences this, right? So I just finished The Witcher. This is what kind of made me think about it. Is like you finish this great story, and then you like get sad afterwards because it's like it's over kind of thing. And especially with like Witcher 3 because it's the end of the whole series, right? Like you can finish The Witcher 1, you're like, oh, it's that's over, but like you had The Witcher 2 and The Witcher 3 to look forward to. But like the end of Witcher 3, it's like it's over. Uh, and you're glad it's over. Like I don't think make like how the story ends. Like there's always that part of you that's like, oh, I want some more kind of stuff. But at the same time, it would ruin it. It came together, it finished. It was like a nice, and it just, and you're sad to leave that world, that story, those characters that you kind of got to know and stuff like that behind. And I've noticed it only happens in particular media. So if you're reading like a really good story, like fiction story kind of thing, and it can really draw you in, you get to know the characters, they give you the details and stuff like that. It works great. Um, and video games. It's like the media that you have to dedicate a much longer time span to. If you're watching a movie, it's really hard for in 2 hours max for you to get invested in characters to just like have that same emotional um, gut punch when something happens to them or when the story concludes and it's like they lived happily ever after, but at the same time, you're like, you know, you're in effect saying goodbye, right? It's kind of like when someone passes away to an extent, or you're seeing a friend for the last time. Um, and it's I don't know, it's just kind of like this, and I've always had this, I don't know if other people have, but I've always had this kind of feeling happen whenever I finish like a book or a video game. Video games are more hit and miss. Obviously, it depends on the game, but if it's like a story-driven video game like The Witcher 3, um, usually it has a pretty good hit. Uh, gut punch kind of end, like saying goodbye, and then books are pretty good. I remember I used to read like the Redwall type books, and at the end of every one of those, it would kind of be like, saying goodbye to a friend kind of thing. Um, and obviously, like if I finish like a textbook kind of thing, like what I'm reading right now, when I'm to the end of that, I do not care. I'm like, all right, move to the next one. But if you're reading, your fiction type books, you get that you really if you really kind of get sucked in, it really you get kind of left hanging to a certain extent, and it's kind of sad. The only other media that kind of hits, like I rarely see it from TV, from movies, but every once in a while, like a TV series, will do it just because they have a little bit more time, longer time to build up the characters, get you to know them. But that's far more rare, and I don't know if it's just the time investment reason, or if it's um, they've taken the time to make the characters more impactful. And obviously, it doesn't happen with it. Like part of it's good storytelling as well. Obviously, it's we've gotten to know these characters. Uh, they're multifaceted, have been faced by various challenges, and have addressed them in certain ways that make you connect with them, because it's emotional or uh, ideological challenges that you face in your everyday. Like for The Witcher, as an example, he's constantly facing questions of do I save this person? Do I not save this person? What kind of the ramifications stemming from that? Um, what is the worth of a soul kind of thing? Do I save a monster? Do I not save a monster? Who's the real monster? Like these kind of questions where it's not exactly easy to decipher which side of the aisle you fall down on. A good example of one of the quests in the game is there's these people that, like, early on, there's these people that capture this guy, and they're gonna hang him for being from the other side. And you can either choose to save this guy, they're gonna hang him. He's from the enemy side. He's from Nilfgaard. If you don't know the story, you're not gonna know these terms. But basically, he's from the enemy side, and they just came through and absolutely destroyed these guys' land. So he's like, they're the enemy. We're gonna kill the enemy. On the other side, he's like, I have a family and kids. I deserted. I wanted to get out of here, and I don't agree with what my country is doing to you guys, kind of thing. And then on top of that, like anyone that deserts is executed by the people anyway. So it's kind of like, and there's multiple people that are going to execute him. So it's like, okay, well, they came through and killed stuff. It's not like he didn't kill anyone, most likely. He's part of the army for however long. To act like he was completely innocent and never killed anyone. And then it's like, okay, well, the likelihood he makes it home is like low. This is the stuff that was going through my head when I made the decision, at least. The likelihood he makes it home is low. And so it's like, what's one more widow, even though that's a Cole and Callus thing. But it's like, if you stop them, then you're going to have to kill these other two guys. So now you've guaranteed two more widows instead on the other side of it. So it was like, I just let them hang them, right? And it's not an easy decision. But it's like, there's no... It was a net less loss of life in a situation where there wasn't really a right answer, and so just having less people die seemed like the better option. But like, there's no great option there. But like, so those are the kind of emotional decisions that you have to make, and you don't really feel resolved in having made them, but like that's how things in the real world kind of work, where it's not it's murky a lot of times as to what the correct answer is, and so because of that, you're able to highly relate to the character, and then like when the whole story ends, you're kind of like, oh, I guess it's over. Like I don't get to see what this character's up to anymore. It's time to move on, kind of thing. So yeah, kind of interesting. Um, that's all I had on that topic. And then to cover the last little thing is this Governor Whitmore thing. I I haven't looked into this too much, to be fair, but I wanted to give kind of a hot take, I guess. There's something weird with it. I'm not saying that there was nobody that was planning this plot or whatever, but like, and she is awful, absolutely awful, and just like I'm not going to actually listen to any of the rules because I don't have to because I am who I am. It's just it's kind of batshit crazy in my opinion, but um, it's what's happening, I guess, over in Michigan, if I remember correctly. Um, and why they don't just impeach her, I, I guess I don't know local like how impeachment procedures happen in the local area, but it's just like if you're literally not going to do your job or try to be a tyrant in your current position, like this is what the impeachment thing was for, right? So she's said that she's not going to list like if the the I think Michigan Supreme Court said you're not allowed to do this kind of thing. You have like 21 days, and then she's like, I'm going to ignore those orders anyway. So I guess part of it is that that 21 day thing hasn't expired. I think, and yeah, the legislators like you can't do that. Like we have to legislate. You can't just be writing things from the executive, or there's no point in the legislature. So there's like a power struggle happening right now. And then she's like, I'm just gonna do it. So in my opinion, you should impeach her. But anyway, supposedly there was gonna be like a kidnap thing, and from what it looks like, it seemed like it was like some left libertarian types. And by left libertarian, I mean have this idea of like freedom and like the libertarian ideas of like freedom, no government kind of thing, but buy into all the left wing ideological things. So like they believe in open borders and all like the hippy dippy feel good stuff that you could apply to libertarians is kind of their camp. Um, so like open borders and so there's no government, so no rules. You can just smoke pot and have sex with whoever you want. Uh, and uh, they're more on like the whole freedom and not so much on like the responsibility. They don't understand the responsibilities that come with the idea of the amount of freedoms that they want. They just want to be free to do whatever the heck they want, kind of thing. And yeah, it's so I think it was that set of groups, right? Or that kind of group that was going after her. But it's just it's such a convenient like strategic blunder on their part because it's like, well, these draconian things have been going on for a long time, and I get that it takes some time to hit boiling points and things to spill over, but the idea that you would do it like right before an election to then give a convenient talking point and strengthen your current position um, against the people that are trying to keep your power in check, like it plays into her hand. Like if the actual plot had gone off, it doesn't play into her hand, right? Because as far as I can tell, they were gonna kill her or something, from what they were suggesting. But it like plays into her hand so well, the fact that it was foiled, that it's just, and the idea that like the FBI stopped it. Now I get that there's regular FBI people and stuff, but like whenever any of the intelligence agencies are involved, I'm skeptical. Um, because we've known that they're partisan. There's plenty of partisan people in there that are going to do things for political reasons, and this is a very easily politically manipulative situation to be like, see, I was assassinated, so now I have the right to do whatever the heck I want. Uh, so I don't know. I find it rather convenient that this happened to happen. Um, but that was just my thoughts on that. Um, yeah, I think that is everything I wanted to cover. If you have any thoughts on any of that stuff, leave a comment below. Uh, like, and subscribe as well. I would greatly appreciate that. Um, I do these on D Live on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, around between 1 and 2 p.m. Uh, at the D Live / Upchuck McDuck. The link's in the description. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much everything. Thank everybody for watching and listening, and until next time.